Thank you. So I'll just repeat what I shared with everyone in the room before we started. First of all, welcome to the March 27th, 2024 regular meeting for the Blockhouse Mud. The video we just showed is about the World Water Day, which was Friday, March 22nd. It's put on by the United Nations. I think it was a nice video just to kind of remind us to conserve water and the importance of water, not just here in Blockhouse or in Texas, but worldwide. So thank you for taking a minute to look at that. If you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would you please silence your phones? And I want to remind the directors that we are streaming live. The microphones pick up everything, so please be careful when you're flipping through your papers or side conversations. And join me in 30 seconds of silence. Okay, thank you. Do I have any recommendations to move anything around on the agenda? No? Okay, thank you. Director Johnson just flew in. He'll be joining us in about 5 or 10 minutes. He said we didn't need to move anything around. Do we have any citizen communication? No? Okay, thank you. We're gonna go ahead and move forward. Consent items. Do I have a motion to approve minutes from February 8th, the special meeting, and February 28th, the regular meeting?
Move. Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. We are ready for the report from Blockhouse Owners Association. Ms. Martin? Welcome.
Thank you. First, I want to do my civic duty again. There's early voting, begins on April 22nd and ends, election day is May 4th. It's typically a municipal election, but this time they're adding 3 positions to the appraisal district boards. So that's important to us, obviously, so please vote. That was free. Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 30th, at Tomlinson over by the ball fields is the Easter egg hunt. And they divide them up by size of children so that the littles, as people call them, can get an Easter egg or 2. So bring your children and grandchildren, it'll be fun. Shred Day is April 6th at Tonkawa. And Safety Day in coordination with the MUD is on April 13th. And the electronic sign continues to be the bane of our existence. But we are working on it every day. So just be patient, and once it's up, we'll all be happy.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Martin? I'll just go over the Safety Day real quick. We have Williamson County Sheriffs will be there discussing just issues that are happening in the district, like mailbox break-ins, which we've had a couple more of those. We have somebody that's going to discuss fentanyl, and she'll hand out Narcan spray or shots or something. CTRMA has been invited. I haven't heard back if they're going to join us. We have some issues with Raider Way and the light signals and the backup of what used to be an 8-minute drop off your kid at Rouse or Wiley is now 40 to 50 minute. So we've invited them to join us. Who else? We have, Mark will be there with Premier to talk about pool safety. And then the fire department will be here. Williamson County will be here, so SWAT. So it'll be a nice event. Please let your residents know, yes.
Rocal will be there, our new management company.
Oh, great,
So
okay.
pass the word to the.
Yeah, I think we can adjust our flyer that we put out, and we'll put that
I
on
think it's
there.
on there.
Oh, is it? Okay, I must have missed that. Fantastic, that's good. Okay, yeah, we'll get the word out. I think that'll be great. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Deputy Lovato's not here this evening. Boggs is in the district, so I think we're gonna pass on that. I think, the subcommittee will probably meet with him next week. And he has been made aware of the mailbox break-ins. We have one on Snelling Sunday night. Unfortunately, the residents went to the post office and they gave them the same song and dance, that it was up to us to fix it. Thankfully, Lisa and Amy got in contact with our main contact at the post office, and they're already working on a replacement. And I have, we've shared that with residents, so that's good.
Yeah, I
And-
saw Boggs on the way over here working.
Did you? Yeah.
Patrolling,
Yeah, so I think they even tried to get into the Hutton mailboxes, but they didn't, but there's some stuff, so, keep an eye on your mailboxes, and please, all residents, pick up your mail in a timely manner, just not put anything in there for those jerks. Okay, number 5, is Mark here?
So Mark is not here today, he did
Okay.
have a prior engagement, his report is in the packet, and if you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I'm happy to pass them on to him.
Okay, I am gonna hold 5A until Director Johnson gets here, and I see that Amanda's here, so as soon as he shows up, we'll go back to that, if you guys are okay with that. I did see Tripp's here, so if you wanna go ahead and give your report, Tripp?
Okay, so, full speed ahead right now in March, so that's the main thing we're doing, just trying to keep up and in the little less growing season here pretty soon. Other than that, everything's going good. I really don't have anything to say that's extra or anything. I do have I had a couple proposals, one of them I see here, for the right of way on Creek Run, and cleaning that area up.
So that's in our packets, proposal 3578 for the amount of
$12,060.
$12,000, and it's, why don't you tell us what you're planning on doing? I know Director Young brought this up last month.
So it was basically following the scope that
David Gray.
David, yeah, that's lots. Basically what he did, what he explained, there's a lot of dead branches in there, some debris, needs to be cleaned up as far as mowing. And then within that also has maintenance to go to the end of the fiscal year as well. So it'd just be moving and take care of it.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve proposal 3578?
Could I just, quick question? There's a partition that Nebraska furnished, Mark, so the territory we're talking about is between Creek Run and that partition? That's exactly the line, is that where they're at there?
Back of the curb up to the fence line, I think.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah,
fence
so-
line, is that the partition line?
That's our
Yeah.
property line, I believe,
Yeah.
Robert.
Okay.
David?
So it's that section in there from what we can see,
Yeah, and
but not on the other side of the
you've already
fence.
got some maintenance going on across the street from the school, the area, which is now the NFM site, really never has been maintained. So it's really, I think, picking up and taking care of that, making it look clean like the school area does.
Okay, and you agree, that's the area that we're looking at,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve proposal 3578?
A motion?
Second.
Okay, any more discussion?
Yeah, I do have a question. So, in this as well, is there gonna be, what is the increase for maintenance? I may not have heard what you said a while ago.
Well, it was just in there. Don't recall right off the top of my head how much it was specifically. I just put some time in there to go every other week, just clean it up. Shouldn't need a whole lot for the most part.
Okay.
And then at the new fiscal year when the contract's up, we'll revisit and
So the only thing I would recommend is because it does need cleaning up, I agree. There's a lot of dead limbs there that got pushed over somehow to our side, or either they fell during the freeze, whatever it was. But if we remove all the vegetation, we're just allowing to just trim it up.
Doing that.
Yes.
Okay, all right, good.
Some of the limbs that are hanging, that type of stuff needs to go, but a lot of the underbrush, we're just trying to keep that
Keep it
kind of
native?
screened, yeah.
I think leaving it native as best that you can would be good, yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Anything else, Trip?
That's all I got, and I don't know if you'd like me to stay for, actually, I have one other thing.
Sure.
But there is a proposal for the MS4, so I don't know if I needed to stay for that. And also, I was gonna ask about the water variance. And I know Ben and I have talked a little bit about it as far as timing and when it should be requested for. In the past, we've always requested that the mud can water basically whenever they want to, but obviously, we try to not just go crazy. But if that was approved, I can provide a schedule with you all so that everybody knows when things should be running and when things shouldn't be running.
Great.
So,
And do we have a plan to disable watering after heavy rain?
the plan would be, right now there's rain sensors that will shut it off for you, but we aren't coming out to shut it off.
So
Okay.
explain how the rain, or if they cork, when it
Yes,
fills up, it doesn't allow it
Right.
to come on, but sometimes they don't work, so they break up inside or something?
yes, but we are checking those every month,
Okay,
so they should be working.
because there was some criticism on social media that the district was watering heavily, and they didn't understand why they weren't allowed to water more than once a day, the whole thing.
Yeah, and I've seen
Once a
it
week.
where it rained most of the day and then it was watering at night. So we'll keep an eye on that. If it happens, then we can send it to the GM. She'll reach out to you and
Yeah.
we'll fix whatever cork and we'll get it to Bob again.
Well, and I'll stick up here for Tripp for a second on this, is that, we are still way behind on a year-over-year basis on rain. So even though it may rain a bit here, right? I don't know about y'all's yard. My yard, even after it rains within a day, cracks come back. So I mean, I get the other residents are frustrated, but at the same time, we have to maintain common areas. And if it's drying out within a day or two after a day of rain, it may behoove us to keep ahead while we have some help from the sky.
Right.
Because if we have I still worry we're gonna have a hot summer. And if we have a hot summer, then we're just behind even further. So just-
Let's, why don't we put something on the website that explains why the mud can water as much as we can?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so just
my
to
next
kind of bring
point.
everybody up to, really what we've been dealing with is residents are having heartburn because of the Cedar Park water restriction.
Leander's,
Leander's, yeah, and it's actually Cedar Park's, because that's where we're purchasing our wholesale.
but they're
product.
confused.
And they're confused as
Yeah.
well, and so they're upset, like I said, that we are having to water, we do have a lot of trees and a lot of maintenance out here. And so they feel like everybody, including the mud, should have to maintain that order.
Lisa, just to add to that, because I think that does make a lot of confusion, they have a Leander mailing address. I think if we could explain to them in a PR press release that, you're not in the city, you may use, it's only a post office address, that's all it is. It's not giving you city limit taxes, you don't pay those things. If we could help them understand that, maybe if someone would read it and understand,
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you, Director Roberts, we've communicated many times, but you can't.
do it over and over.
Well, it doesn't help, and I get what Linger, them having the signs all over the place, I get, it helps get the word out for them, but I'm sure it causes confusion even for Cedar Park residents,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Drive by the
Yeah.
sign that says no watering, and not everybody always pays attention to who's signing.
Let's just try to communicate it,
Yeah, absolutely.
so we're blue in the face.
Yeah, I hate not being able to water too, but at the same time, like, I'd hate for the mud's common areas to end up, ruined in the summer.
And the cost of
And the
replacing.
investment that the district taxpayers have put in, we need to preserve that as best we can.
Right, okay, thank you. Okay, thanks, Trip.
Do we need to speak about the
Yeah.
fire breaks right now as well, since we're here?
Yeah,
Go
it's
ahead.
under the landscaping, so.
Yeah.
So we created this map. I basically went out and walked pretty much everything. The areas of the red are obviously encroaching on homes and yards a lot more than other areas. The green areas, we've done quite a bit of work, and the yellow areas, we have done some work. All areas probably need more fire break. And I honestly think starting at the north end and working back I think that's a pretty good idea, just because, in the hot summer, you have a strong south wind and you can at least protect the homes coming back. And I'm assuming a fire will be more than likely is going to start within the,
An open area.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that was kind of my thought process on it, and,
Yeah, this
So this
spot
one,
to
just to be clear,
yeah, starting up, like.
left to right on this
Yes,
perspective?
correct.
And we did have an additional slide, didn't we, to be able to show what your green areas look like, your yellow
Yeah.
areas and red areas, and obviously the red areas are gonna be your most, important areas that Trip is gonna be focusing on. Be able to give
Well
that,
done.
that
Yeah.
fire break, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
No, yeah, a hand crew or bulldozer can get in the green area, but you guys with hand tools wouldn't get in that red
Well, the
area.
green area is what he actually focused on with the money that we had last year and a little bit of the walking into this year. The yellow area is what he's been able to touch so far, and then the red area is where he's really gonna start giving the attention to, so.
So
thank you.
what is the width? 5 feet or
What did we
It
discuss?
needs to be 30.
30
We're
feet?
talking
Oh, wow.
30, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
We've
So I
done
would-
a lot.
I would encourage all the directors, if you could, to go off of Hutton. There's, if you go almost all the way down to where it bends, there's a way you
Comes in
can
that
walk
far,
out of
yeah.
there. And it's amazing. It's like clean as can be. And then you make that left, and then it's just like, oh my gosh. As a matter of fact, Amanda, I was talking to Amanda Stanfield yesterday, and they back up to where that homeless person was that we took care of last month. And who was it? Lisa and Tripp were walking. You guys said you saw big paw prints.
Oh, yeah.
And Amanda caught it on their cam, and it's a big bobcat.
Really?
Yeah.
And they don't record, but next time, they're gonna share a picture with us. Yeah, she said it's bigger than their dog, but there's a couple out there, and she says you guys can hear it at night too,
That's
right?
unusual, wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool.
So on April the 22nd, we did actually advertise in the news letter this last month that we do have Earth Day cleanup. We have asked residents to volunteer. We have asked them to be mindful that any areas that they decide to clean up on, if they send us a pin drop of that, we'll get that information over to Trip. They'll come in and they'll clean out that area. We've asked them not to include anything from their own personal backyard, but to help help the district in total, anything that's behind their back fencing. It would definitely make a huge difference to have residents involved in any way that they can. It obviously will help in the budget and allow for Trip's people to go out there. There's just so much whenever you're walking in the area that although a bulldozer would sound great, a lot of it is actually going to have to be hand done, just because there's just so much to get to it. I will also mention that the green areas that Trip actually focused on were areas that the Cedar Park Fire would actually be able to access right away. So that gives them just a little bit more access into the creeks, so gives us a little bit more of an opportunity to be able to fight that, so.
I do have one legal question for Sean. Do these residents need to sign releases of liabilities in case they're injured doing district volunteer work?
Probably be optimal, but it would depend, because I know there's some properties there that actually extend beyond the fence line.
Okay.
in
But I
that
mean,
area.
should we at least get those releases that they were volunteering and that?
Yeah, I think we should probably look into it.
We have that released online. We'll make sure that we post it again.
Great, okay, thank you. Thanks, Trip.
Thanks.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and, thank you, Director Johnson joined our meeting. Nice to see you. I know you've had a long day. We're gonna go back to 5A, which is considerations for lifeguards during master swim class. It's my agenda item. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Director Johnson. And the president of Tidal Waves is here to address any issues or concerns.
So this item is just looking at the relatively new rule that came out requiring lifeguards. And in looking at it and reading it, it doesn't, to me, seem like for master swim, because the pool's not being used for competitive purposes and because they're not using the blocks nor diving from the side of the pool, that lifeguards would not be required at that time. That's really the gist of it.
Okay, so the question is, can we go ahead and do master swim without hiring lifeguards to be there? And Sean, why don't you go ahead and give us your opinion?
Well, I looked at this prior to, it was several months ago. When do these classes start?
May 1st.
Okay, so candidly, I looked at the rule and that was not my impression.
Okay.
So I would like the opportunity to revisit that.
Sure.
My recollection of the rule is that it wasn't distinguishing between whether a competition was occurring or not occurring, just whether the pool hosted competitions. I know you have distinguished different forms of competition, but I'd like to revisit the rule in light of that, yeah.
Okay.
But master swim is not competition, is that correct?
It's not.
That's not what's at issue. What's
Right,
at issue
that's-
is whether or not the pool is used for competition.
How it's classified.
Right. And I know you're gonna look at it. So I guess the way I read and I realize no one has it in front of them, but the way I read the top part is that it's not one of those competitions either. Like, it gives examples of competitions that it considers competitive. In my view, it's actually under the bottom part, but either way, I think, just for when you review, I think that the way I read it, if we could somehow, quote unquote, close the blocks, whatever that means, that's what I think. If we put, I mean, not that this would look great, but a trash bag over it, plus having the coaches make sure that nobody enters from the side or from the blocks, to me, that would be closed. I want to make sure it's closed to you, but, and see if that removes the restriction for the lifeguards.
So just to be sure about clear, the rule, it's an administrative rule that was put in place, criticism of the drafter, but it's not particularly artfully drafted, nor has any guidance been offered.
Right.
And, again, no criticism here, but administrative rules are not always the most artfully drafted, so.
So the issue is if you determine and suggest to us that we do need to have lifeguards there, then the next question is, the MUD will need to supply those lifeguards during that time. The Master Swim class is not a tidal waves event per se. They are having the coaches teach it, but it's for all residents in Blockhouse. And so the reason they want to know is because if we're going to turn around and say, no, you have to hire lifeguards, that's going to impact their budget. And I actually think if you say we have to have lifeguards, then this board's going to have to say, okay, Mark, supply the lifeguards, and it's going to be on our budget. So just that's part of it, okay? I guess we'll bring it back in April, I'm sorry, but that's what we're gonna have to do, okay?
Ursula, could we just maybe consider this like an open swim day? I mean, is there a reason why we have to call it Master Swim? I mean, is there any way we could just extend it part of, the hours? I mean.
Well, we have to have lifeguards.
We would at that point. The only other thing is that the coaches are there,
They're certified.
Correct.
they are certified as lifeguards, right? Absolutely. But they're there to kind of teach swim. They give drills, so, hey, go swim the 50,
Well,
whatever.
and to be sure, there are other portions of either that rule or another rule that say you can't be coaching and guarding at the same time.
Absolutely. And I thought about that. My reading of it, my non-legal reading of it is that would just be icing on the cake, because I don't think they're required anyway. But you're right, if they are, then that probably wouldn't check the box, because they
They're
can't.
coaching.
You can't have dual functionality.
Right,
Right.
if they're not required, then having them there would just be if they were required for some life-saving function, they are also required.
Okay, we'll bring it back in April. Okay, all right, let's move on. Private landscape, report from amenities subcommittee is in the report. We had a couple of meetings. It's in the packet. PR and communications, do we have anything on special events? We already discussed the safety day. Do we have anything else? Okay, the newsletter, the information's in the packet. Transparency, I don't think we have anything. Number 11, resident survey. Where are we on that, and when do we expect to launch that?
Before the next meeting, and we're finishing it next week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great news. Fantastic. All right, restrictive covenants, we are gonna go into executive session at the end of the meeting, so I think we're just gonna go ahead and hold off on that, if everybody's okay with that. So go on to finance and audit, and Tyler, you are on the phone. Welcome.
All right, thank you, Ursula. All right, so I'll go ahead and get started. Your checks are all being processed out of the manager's account, as you guys approved last month. Checks being approved today are checks 8789 down to 8830. We did have a couple of transfers from TextPool to the manager's account in order to pay those checks. We also had your tax transfers. Other than that, no additional investments. We just have those 3 CDs that you guys have had for the past 4 months. And you guys have no questions? That's all I have.
Okay, I missed it, I'm sorry, and I didn't notice, do we have any write-offs? No? Okay, great. Do I have a motion to approve the bills and invoices?
Move. Second.
Transfers and invoices, okay, any discussion? No, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Our notes are in the packet, from our meeting, I think, what did we discuss? We discussed something, okay, so we do need to discuss this real quick. David Johnson, as a resident, actually brought this to my attention, and I know I have dealt with it in the past. But when you rent a facility, you have to write a check, and you have to write a check for your deposit. And we are gonna look at, and we've talked to Tyler, we are gonna look at a way of start taking credit cards. I don't think I could find a check in my house right now, to be quite honest.
It took us a while, actually.
Yeah, and I think we need to get with the 2024s and have a system. So we're going to explore that a little bit more with Matt, and obviously with Sean and with our GM, and we'll probably bring something back next month, okay? But we gotta get away from taking checks. That's just so 1990s. Okay, and move on. Services, report from Mr. Gray, has another grandchild, number 10, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Never thought that'd be possible. Can't be that old. Okay, under agenda item 18, quickly, under general services, we did, Lisa passed on a request from PEC for consideration for an additional easement along and adjacent to their substation site in Tonko Park. I've sent that over to Sean. The candid, I don't think any of us have spent a lot of time on it yet. He's just perfectly candid. We will, before your next meeting, and try to bring you back some recommendations. So,
Mind if I jump in there real
Please
quick?
do.
So we talked about that briefly at the last meeting, and I mentioned to the board, the last time PEC made a request, my firm has a conflict as we've represented both PEC and the district in the past. But the last time they came through, both parties consented to that representation. I've reached out to their lawyer on 2 occasions and haven't heard back yet.
they must not be too big a hurry.
It could be.
But I will tell you.
We'll know when they are.
We will. I have briefly looked at it, just in looking at other things, and it will impact, if granted, will impact an existing trail system in Tonko that is adjacent. I'll call it on this side, so that would be the east side of the substation.
Right.
It appears that easement request would impact that trail, so just, we'll bring you more details.
Okay.
Let's just come and put a look at it.
Nebraska Furniture Mart.
Yes, Nebraska Furniture Mart, I think there's some action on that later on.
We can go ahead and pull it in now, can't we, Sean?
Sure, great.
Okay.
Happy to do
So we
that.
have the documentation on the easement, and, which also includes their gift, donation,
Contribution,
contribution.
they have agreed to a $200,000 contribution along with up to $25,000 to offset cost of the district for work, in negotiating that and reviewing their plans and things like that. I will tell you that the district has spent more than $25,000 between my office and Sean. We're doing everything we can to keep the expenses down, but they did agree to that. So effectively, you're gonna get $225,000 if this is consummated. We have reviewed the easement, we have reviewed the plans. With execution of this and filing of this, and I'll certainly defer to Sean on the legal aspects of it, then I think we're gonna find ourselves in a position of ready to sign the plans. When the city's ready to sign, which I think is virtually now, I did exchange a correspondence with Carl today. We're trying to coordinate that. The easement looked good. And so it's really getting that and then getting the contribution. So, well done, district, well done, committee.
Well, thank you for your
Well
help in the
done,
negotiations, but
I think we
thank you,
have,
Shoemaker.
I think we're looking forward to a continuing great working relationship with NFM. And I
Absolutely.
think they are too, in
Yeah,
all fairness.
absolutely, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, Sean.
I don't have too much to add, board members. I sent out, I think, a copy of the easement agreement, and then we do have, they have requested that we do an adoptive resolution, which is something more common on the city side, but it's basically just a narrative that says that you guys have adopted the attached easement and provided authority for the signature of the easement. The drainage easement agreement itself, in some, David mentioned they were fairly easy to work with. I would agree with that. The only thing that I would say is a little bit atypical here is they did ask for a statement relating to a reservation of capacity in the drainage system. That is where we had started with this
Yes.
initial inquiry
Yes.
way back when. And so our only qualifier there was that, yes, we can handle your capacity so long as your facilities are operated and maintained in accordance with the funded specs. And they were open to adding that provision. And quite frankly, I mean, we marked a fair amount of red lines that went back and forth, and they agreed to do almost all of it.
Yeah.
And so they're fairly easy to work with on the legal side.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And again, thank you both,
Well,
all three of you.
of course.
And thank you to Nebraska Furniture Mart. I do want to remind residents that they're building a detention pond which will hold the water. So the water that does enter into the storm drain is going to be cleaner than what it is right now. It will be monitored and that will be increased from what is coming in right now. So I know there's
That's
been a lot of misnomers or whatever, of like what's going to happen with that. And the fact is that we do have to give them access to the storm drain. So I think this team worked really well together to get it, to protect the district.
Mhm.
So do I have a motion to approve the resolution as well as the, you said there was a second thing that we had to.
The underlying easement.
Just, so there's just one document that we're approving.
Well, no, we need the resolution approving drainage easement and then the drainage agreement.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve both documents?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
any more discussion?
Sean, you said that they agreed to almost all of your red lines. You don't have any concerns about the ones that,
I think they took all of them,
They
actually.
took all of them.
Trading paper, we made our comments, some more came back, but it was mostly clarifying stuff, yeah.
Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Mark that off. Okay, David Gray, do you have anything else under your area?
You want to talk about the bond issue?
Let's talk about the bond issue.
It's really going to tie into Trent, who's here tonight. We met with the recreational subcommittee, which is the one that's kind of monitoring the bond issue progress, discussed the scope of improvements. We outlined a number of steps. The next one being, you've already authorized our office and essentially your attorney's office and your financial advisor to work on the bond application. Several of the support documents we need in a normal, I'll call it normal, that sounds abnormal, but in a more routine bond issue, you would already have construction plans and specifications. You would send those in along with the cost estimates and our bids. We don't have that yet, but we do need at least schematic drawings of your proposed improvements. They're schematic, and that doesn't mean that they exactly reflect what you're going to do, et cetera. That is something that I believe that I am not as qualified as others to prepare. So we reached out with the subcommittee's blessing to Trent, and he has kindly prepared a proposal that is going to be brought for you in a moment that talks about not only the schematic drawings, but the design of the improvements, and then his services under construction administration will be involved working with him to provide whatever civil support he needs and or processing through the city to the extent that is applicable. Once he has prepared his schematics, then we can finalize our bond issue package and submit to TCQ. I think that we should target that for May of this year. And then we'll be in TCQ and on through our approval process of your bond issue. I will also make a pitch because Trent's proposal is multi-phase, that I would recommend to the board you consider allowing him to go into the design phase. That way you'll have the plans ready when you come out with your bond issue. I want to point out that all costs to the district from our office, from Trent's office, others, Sean's office, your financial, are all covered by the bond application, including your parks plan. We will put that in as a reimbursable. So those will ultimately be revenue neutral to you. The concept is to come out of the commission in about 6 months with an approved bond issue that you can sell, fund, and you'll have plans for the improvements that you choose to go forward with at that time. Doesn't mean you have to go forward with all of them. You can think you're going to sell all of them. That's a financial advisor recommendation. I think you're going to sell all of them, but then you can choose which ones you go forward. But you can be ready to get on those. I know certainly your playscape is, has been your top priority. So unless you have any questions for me, it may be a good time to talk to Trent about that.
Yeah, absolutely, Trent. So thank you, Mr. Gray. So your proposal is in the packet. Thank you for pulling that together. So do I have a motion to approve item agenda number 30, park bond considerations? Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions for Trent on the proposal? Okay, all in favor? Trent, do you have anything to add?
No, David did a great job. Selling my services, no, it's a three-phase proposal for you guys. Phase one is the only thing that David needs now for the bond application. Other than that, we're at your leisure as soon as you guys want to move forward. It's, you know, as you can tell, it's in there in a shopping list format. So whichever projects you are become more important, you can pick those out one by one, and we can provide services in support of David for any permitting, and he's putting together the final bid document, but we would put together all the documentation. He would do the bid form and run the bidding process.
Great, thank you.
So what, may I ask a question? What is your next, I mean, what's the next move for the board? I mean, can we go ahead and have a special meeting with you, or is it to get the schematics?
The schematics are of the improvements that are shown in your park plan.
Right.
So those are what we're targeting right now.
So
I
when
will need a
does that
meeting
happen?
with the Parks Committee to review what you guys want to see in each of those parks so that I can draw it up correctly. Close, it won't be, you know,
Schematic.
it'll be schematic level, but it'll be representative. And we want to be detailed enough so that when we go to the next phase, we have a path going forward, and we're not, I don't want to just create a schematic throwaway plan. That
Right.
doesn't make sense for you guys. We could do that, and it would, you know, we could get it to pass. For you guys, it does not make sense, so I'd rather have a schematic that was, you know, realistic, budgeted, fits what you guys want, so that we can, you know, when you guys do move forward in construction documents and bid documents, that the plan's already there and we can move forward and make it really easy.
Okay, so, David Gray, I appreciate it, because I told you that we wanted this expedited as much as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
And so thank you for responding to that as quickly as you did. The Parks Subcommittee will definitely meet with you later this week or early next week, and let's get that going so that we have something. If we want to have a special subcommittee, we can do that, or if we want to wait till April, I'm more like, let's get it moving. We want to get this playscape built, we want to get the bond money, and we want to move forward. So
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think this board wants to waste a single day.
That is the marching orders that we're operating under
Okay,
until advised otherwise. And I think this is a big step tonight in bringing Trent on board and doing that. I think you're gonna see a lot of progress over the next several months. And I wish I could say we'd have a playscape in 60 days. It's just not
it's
the
not
case.
realistic, yeah.
But I think it's gonna be worth waiting for.
I think as soon as we do have a timeline though, and I think Director Roberts is probably where your head is that we will communicate that with residents, because we do want them to know once we understand what the timeline is, so that their expectations.
And also too, and I respect the subcommittee policy, but I think as a board member, I would like to have some input on that schematic. So-
You're gonna have input on it, but let us do the first part of it, and then we'll bring it to, we're not gonna sign off on schematics by any means. We have to put that in front of you all.
So-
But let us get moving on it, and then we'll bring, that's what I'm saying, we could have a special meeting in 2 weeks if we have that.
So I guess my question is, so are you gonna do the recommendation on schematic, on like what the options are, and then give it to the subcommittee and they bring back the final? Is that how this works?
First meeting is really a listening meeting for me to understand what you guys want within these 4 parks that are part of the park plan. I'm gonna listen, you guys are gonna tell me what you want, then I'm gonna start concepting, draw it up, get it back to you guys for review, and be able to get it into.
How about this, let me ask all the directors to please look at his proposal and give the GM some input. Okay, so like if you have specific things you wanna see in there,
Yeah,
give her the input by Friday if you don't mind. I know that's short, but I know it's a priority for all of us. And then we can take that.
that Monday, since the weekend might be a good
Oh,
opportunity
yeah,
to go.
are we closed Friday?
Yes, we are.
So maybe do it Monday.
Good Friday.
Good Friday.
Okay.
All the other kids are off school, that's, I was like, wait a second, the kids are off school.
Okay. All right, Monday's fine. And then let's target maybe, we'll have to look at my schedule, and Director Young's and the GM schedule, but maybe Wednesday, Trent? Well, Wednesday, Thursday, we can meet?
I've sent an email to him, Trent, you and I will get that date scheduled.
Okay.
He's already got it.
Also, there's no reason for us to filter through things that we don't like. If there's anything that's proposed, we're not gonna, we'll give it to the full board. We won't.
Yeah, we're not gonna make any decisions. We're just trying to really go on, but we want everybody's input, absolutely. This isn't Director Logan Park by any means.
I just want to clarify, and I think that the subcommittee understands, but for those board members who have been meeting in subcommittee, the projects that Trent's gonna be looking at, the projects that we outlined in the park plan.
Right,
Okay, we're not gonna go grab something way over here and try to pull the park plan. Imagine
Gotcha.
that, okay?
Yeah, thank you
But,
for
all right, just clarifying that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Reading
looking
my
right
mind.
past you,
reading my
okay?
mind, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what we have to do. And Lisa, if you would include me in that meeting, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes,
No,
absolutely,
it's fine, thank you.
absolutely. Did we vote?
I did not have a note.
We did not.
Okay, all in favor of Trent's proposal?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, everyone. That was great. I feel like we are making some progress
Very
here.
much so. Thank you all very much.
Yes,
Thank
and
you,
thank
David.
you, Mr. Gray.
Yeah.
Okay, Crossroads, Ben, I see you back there. I gotta tell you, I found out Ben is from my hometown, and we both went to Arizona State.
Almost. I was rejected from Arizona State.
Oh! Rejected on the level.
Rejected from the party school too, which was kind of more of a hit to my ego.
Wait, you didn't do U of A, did you?
I didn't. I went to University of Alabama after I got.
Oh, okay.
The other,
Yeah, the other U of A.
the one that's good at football.
Well, you're as good at basketball right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're doing really hot right now in
Yeah.
the NCAA tournament.
But we literally grew up like miles from
Yeah,
each
I
other.
would say
so-
PB and Horizon were kind of-
Yeah, so anyways, that was kind of cool. Obviously, I'm many years older than him, so. All right, welcome.
How's it going, everyone? Before I get started, I just want to piggyback off of Tripp's. Do we need board approval to get that water variance for him to go back to his regular schedule instead of having restrictions?
Why don't we just direct the general manager to?
What do you think, Sean?
I'm not sure what the question is.
For him to
We
enforce
either-
the variance.
In the past, we've just passed it on.
And I think we posted it, so, yeah.
I know we had a customer complain about the landscaping irrigation, and since we're on Sage 3 with City of Cedar Park, me and Tripp were talking, and we changed his schedule to fit the drought contingency plan. But because obviously the parks need attention and they need to irrigate longer, did we need board approval to give him and his company a water variance to water whenever they see fit or go back to their schedule?
I'll make a motion that we approve the variance and let the general manager.
Do I have a
proceed.
second?
Second.
Any, Director Shoemaker has a question for Sean.
Yeah, or Sean, is that,
Needed?
yeah, what is the correct way
I
to?
don't know the rate order and the variance process.
All right, let's just to be safe, okay, so I have a motion, I have a second. Do I have any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Ben.
Gotcha. All right, so the high usage meter changeouts, those are complete by the acoustic leak detection, so all those high usage meters are complete. I think
Full
we finished-
disclosure, I was one of them.
Yeah. I think it happened in the beginning of March, he finished up, but I'm sure people saw Mountain District, and I hope it was a pleasant interaction. If
I
you were-
didn't even notice.
Perfect.
Perfect,
Yeah,
yeah.
perfect. Awesome. We have no write-offs this month for us, and then I have two proposals that I need approval for. One would be for our maintenance department to clean out all the storm drains that Quiddity called out last month in their MS4 report. So that is in your packet for that proposal.
Do you need a motion,
Well, we have two, so let's talk about the second one.
So the first one is the storm drain clean out for MS4. So that one would be handled by our maintenance department to clean out the storm drains that were called out by Quiddity, who's the engineering company that put that back together.
what's the amount?
Hold on,
Hold on, are we?
hold on a second. Sean has asked us to do lead and copper first.
Okay, perfect. So the other proposal will be for the lead and copper field work. So this one is a little bit more in-depth. After we had our inventory completed of the whole neighborhood, out of the 2,100 homes, our internal department found out that 549 residential addresses were built before that lead ban. So we are going to have to do a field verification of line identification, potholing, of the 549 addresses to get a visual on the lines. So it's not the whole neighborhood, which is good, but it is some. And that proposal would be a not to exceed of $14,000, and that would be for the labor, our equipment, all hands on, the documentation, the preparation, and then all of that submitted to TCEQ for us to fall in compliance.
And you all are doing it, or are you subbing it out?
Our maintenance department will do this one.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve this proposal not to exceed 14,000 for lead and copper for the 500 plus homes?
I would just approve.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Yeah, I just have a question. So it's not that they're made of lead, it's that you're checking to determine whether they are or not?
That's right.
Okay, making sure.
And how, what, you just doing data collection, I mean, water samples, I mean, how are you?
So this one will just expose the line and take a picture.
You look at the line itself.
And just see
Basically,
what
the
it
whole
is. and then-
There was some, remember David back a long time ago, polybutylene replacements? Do you have those records? I mean,
Probably.
because that would probably help you a little bit, not have to go back in. I mean, those were dug up back in, what, 1990s something?
The lead and copper date, which eludes me right now, may be after that, so we still may do that. I'll just talk to Ben to make sure he's
Think that
got
would be
everything he needs.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you've got everything you need from us, but I'll double check with you.
Well, but I guess the question, I guess, is, it'd be good to save us somebody we to know, but I guess my understanding of this issue the whole discussion all the time is that bottom line is because these people don't meet the day, we've still got to field verify, right? There's no, we can documentation verify. I mean, it's good to know if they've had to work on previous, but
But if you did polybutylene replacement, they would have exposed the lines.
my point is, I think,
If the polybutylene was after the date, and I think would be all right, I don't recall if that's gonna be the case or not. I would recommend the board approve the proposal. Let us make sure he has I believe he does, make sure he has all the data from our office on that, and then they'll let him know what he needs to proceed to do, which probably won't vary from what he's proposing right now.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Okay, Ben, your next proposal?
The next one would be for the
Storm drain.
storm drain, the MS4 storm drain proposal. And that one, the total for that one is gonna be 29,900.
I was, the two proposals for storm drain cleanup for MS4, are those either or are they both? Didn't I see one?
This one's from Crossroads and one from Priority, right?
Yes, right, and are they one or the other?
One or the other.
One or the other.
Okay,
And you have.
Like, that was just what I was
the price.
asking.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so Crossroads, yours is 20, you said 29,000?
Yes, 29,900.
And then Priority is
24, 185,
185?
24, yeah. So I go with Crossroads. I recommend that they proceed with this work since they're familiar with this and they're our contractor.
The general manager, do you have any recommendations?
Both actually have worked on the MS4. I honestly think just for budgeting purposes, we really do need to consider the 24,185. The 9,000 is, the 29 is a little bit more, but.
Okay, all right, so I'm gonna do it this way. Do I have a motion to approve A, which is Crossroads at 29,000?
I will do that.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any more discussion on that?
Would you be willing to adjust this down to 29,000?
It is 29,000.
No, it's 940.
Sorry, it's $29,940.26.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put that there, below your pay grade there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Could you lower it to 29,940 just to fit in the budget? Or 29,000?
I would need to recoup with our maintenance guys and.
You can't do this.
You can't do that. Okay, any
Can
more
I ask
discussion?
a question about
Yes.
real quick? Because I noticed y'all on the Crossroads did the scope of work like Priority did. The scope of work's identical, correct? Like, is Priority mentioned like they're doing 32 out of 84 inlets, they're replacing 6 inlet markers, they're looking at 3 outlets that need sediment and debris removal, right? Like, I guess, is your scope exactly the same as theirs?
I don't believe the replacement, or I don't think the replacement of the materials is, that other quote is saying they would replace certain. Yeah. I don't think Crossroads would replace that like they were saying that they would.
Okay, because that would help make, it's a little bit hard to make the decision because there's not much of an itemization of what
Right.
y'all are doing, right? So I don't know if I'm,
So Priorities is going to replace the markers,
Okay.
where Crossroads is not. Okay, so all in favor
Wait,
of,
I got one more question. So were you given the same scope?
Yes. So we're
You
using
chose
what,
not to bid for the 6 inlet replacements?
I think that may have just been like a,
It's a subsidiary service. The intent is to clean the inlets under MS4. They don't talk about the
So
markers. I don't
we're not
know.
talking like a whole lot of money for 6 damaged inlet markers. They're like probably nickels.
Okay.
To give you a better understanding, when Crossroads is bidding this actually goes to our project management department for the maintenance, which actually handles the bidding of this. So what they did is they actually took the entire scope that was provided to us by Quiddity, as well as Priority Landscape, so they actually had the full entire scope of the report in general. So that gave them the opportunity to go in and price if they needed to. Also keep in mind, and I think if Tripp is still here,
Yes.
I think the difference is actually in the labor costs, considering that Crossroads has a different pricing in labor. Tripp has a little bit more people because he does get those seasonal workers that gives him that opportunity to bid at a lower price, but actually does benefit the district, and that's the actual offset of the difference besides your markers.
Okay, all in favor of,
To be clear, this is an either or.
yes.
Yes, sir.
So the one, Crossroads, is 29,940, and B, Priority Landscapes is 24,000. So there's about a $5,000 difference, plus Priority Landscapes is gonna replace a couple of the tags. So all in favor, oh, I'm sorry, Director
Was
Shane.
we're considering A right now, right?
There was a motion on A, we have not done a motion on B yet. There was a second, now I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor of Crossroads proposal, 29,940. All in favor? Any opposed? Aye.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion for Priority Landscapes, which is at 24,000 even?
24,185.
185. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion or questions for Tripp? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, so you voted no for both of them.
I'm going to abstain from the first one.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Did you hear that, Sean?
Yeah, I did, yeah, we
So
did.
you abstained from the first one, you voted no for the second one. Okay, so you don't, okay. All right, so we are moving forward. Thank you, Ben. Do you have anything else for us?
Yes, so my last thing would be my memo in the supplemental packet. If you guys were able to look at that, I have a memo for AT&T, Mr. Ernie.
Thank you.
And if you guys were able to read it, he is the supervisor for the 2 boring companies in Blockhouse, which would be OK Text and A&A Cable Contractors. So as you can see in my memo, we have 3 invoices that we've been back billing. OK Text, which is one of the 2. And we've received one of the invoices for $2,000, $396, and we are waiting in the 2 other ones that have not been paid yet for $14,500 and $19,300. Total paid being $33,907. And then I believe there are some other communications in the neighborhood of people with complaints and concerns, and so I'm gonna leave the floor up to Mr. Ernie.
Yes, Ernie, and what's your last name?
Alvarado.
Alvarado.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, if you would mind going to the podium?
Yes, ma'am.
And welcome to the Blockhouse Month meeting.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, that's, so just so we're all on the same page, I'm gonna let Ernie speak, and I'm gonna go around the table and let each director ask whatever they need to.
Okay.
We go around twice if we need to. I'm gonna ask every director to be respectful. I know there's been some frustrations, but we all need to be respectful of, we appreciate you being here.
Understand, no problem, understand. First off, my name's Ernie Alvarado. I've been with AT&T 11 years. Started as an installer, moved to first line manager. Then I decided to retreat, become a repairman. Repairman for 7 years, and then I got promoted to this position here where I'm pretty much a project manager. I've been kind of shuffled around Austin since the 2.5 years I've been on this side of the company. So I've lived in this area my entire life. I live out in Lago Vista, so I'm familiar with this area. First off, like I said, we are doing work to enhance our facilities in this area. We do have copper facilities, but we're limited in regards to the speed we can provide on the copper legacy lines that we have in our existing utilities here. This project was put on hold. This project, so I have one right behind here, and then I had one over there at the Scottsdale side of the neighborhood. Towards the end of beginning of last year, they decided we can't spend any money. We're putting these projects on hold. Well, come beginning of this year, they decided we got the money, we're pushing it out, and that's why we're here. Like I said, in regards to this side of the project, I'm going to take full responsibility in regards to miscommunication that we've had between my contractor and the neighborhood in regards to I gave them boxes of door tags that should have been placed out at every door in this section of this project. And I've already talked to three customers, three property owners on this side, and they said they never saw any door tags. So that's responsibility falls on me. And that's something that should have been placed out to where it gave you a phone number and an email address to, if you had any concerns in regards to dead grass, broken down water lines, damaged sidewalks, anything that you have issue with, you can send pictures or anything to this email address. And it's a division with AT&T they created this division to be able to give you as property owners the ability to make a complaint and get a response in a timely manner. And that wasn't done correctly. So like I said, that's on me. I moving forward, it's, like I said, I believe we have another project in this neighborhood, but it hasn't been pushed out. It's still on hold, pushed till 2025. But first off, like I said, that's on me. And like I said, I'm gonna make sure that we do a better job on communicating when we plan on starting more work. I have we had a couple issues over here. The addresses that I went to look at was 168110 Black Hill Drive, Mr. Bracewell, and 15363 English River Loop, Mrs. Gutierrez. I met with both of them today. They were really receptive. I mean, they said thank you for coming out. I apologize I didn't come out sooner. It's been hectic for me the last couple of weeks. We changed in regards to my job title. We have a new area manager. So it's been a lot of meetings, a lot of this, a lot of that. So like I said, that's on me as well. But I'm in constant contact with those two property owners, and I told them, in regards to what was going on, it does look like a war zone out there. And like I said, it's nasty. The rock is what's making this difficult for us. Unfortunately, we chose to bore instead of open trench this property to just try to avoid the mess that we saw out there today. Unfortunately, that didn't happen here. And driveway was broken, irrigation lines were broken. In regards to our contractors, part of their bid process when they bid projects for us is when there are damages and property owners come out and say it's their responsibility to replace it. Water lines, sod. We'll match the sod. We won't just put Bermuda and then put a different type of grass. They're gonna match the grass that's currently out there currently, especially irrigation lines. I know one of the property owners had a concern in regards, well, what if there's a 20-foot section of irrigation line and you break it 10 different times? Are you going to put couplers every? No, that's not going to happen. We're going to replace a whole section of irrigation line to minimize the number of couplings in that system to keep the integrity of the line. And there's also another avenue to where if you're not happy with the way they repaired it, you can get your own contractor, your irrigation company, email address. You can send their invoice, and the contractor's responsibility is to pay that invoice. So those two companies, and then I know we had another issue in regards to an oil leak, hydraulic leak at 2512 Hutton Lane. Mr. Laredo, I spoke to him as well. We will have to go out several times in regards to the power washing, because I made a visit out there after they washed it, I believe this morning, yesterday, and there are still some remnants of hydraulic fluid. They will be going out pretty much until it's gone, and I will be making this site visit pretty much every day until I'm satisfied with what it looks like. And also in regards to his grass, we'll be replacing some of his grass as well. But that won't happen until actually we have everything in the ground, because we don't want to restore everything and then have to come back out and dig it back up. Which typically we try not to avoid that, but in certain circumstances, it's to adjust the cable and all that, we might have to dig a hole back up just to be able to get that cable into our conduit and what have you. So I'm in contact with Mr. Laredo. He was really generous. I gave him my card, so if he has any issues, concerns, he can call me directly. I also provided the email address to some of your property owners over here for Black Hill. I told them feel free to share this. Like I said, it's a great point of contact. It documents the event. So 6 months from now, if you have another issue, they can pull you up, pull your address up, say, oh, this property owner, we had an issue. Now they have another issue, we can go back out there and get it resolved to their satisfaction.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go ahead and start, and then we'll go around the room. So one thing I'm gonna point out to the directors is that you are in contact with our GM, and I believe you're having weekly meetings with her.
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage you guys to continue to do that.
Yes, I will, yes.
I appreciate you reaching out to the residents.
Mm-hmm.
With the stormwater, with the oil leak or the whatever it was.
Hydraulic fluid, you're saying?
Yes, the GM is aware of that, and it was reported appropriately to TCEQ, and it's being cleaned up appropriately with soap,
Yes.
and the GM is on top of that.
We are gonna make several attempts several trips to get this cleaned up for it.
Okay,
Because like I said, after it dried up, you can still see a little remnants of the oil. And I met my contractor today, I said, look, we're gonna have to keep on doing this until it's to their satisfaction. So
Okay.
we'll make several attempts to get that all cleaned up for you.
and so some of the other issues have been like not having the sidewalks properly documented, that they're closed and that type of thing, so you corrected that. So I
Yes.
appreciate you listening to our GM and making the corrections. You guys have only done a very small portion of our neighborhood,
Yes.
and maybe we're learning now from some of these areas and it'll be a little bit smoother
Yes,
for the
ma'am.
rest of it. Okay, Director Young.
Is every home going to be impacted, or is this just main routes?
It's typically, it's just gonna be, so we will have to access or dig pits per se for the terminals to be able to access, to provide the fiber optic drops to each residence in the neighborhood. So that will go maybe every other house, or we typically, we follow our existing legacy prints, or where we have existing terminals or what have you, the tower looking things. We try to place our terminals at the same location. So wherever you see a terminal, we're gonna have to dig up, bring the pipe up, and then set a handhole and place our terminals there.
So I would ask for you to tell me, very high level, what are you guys doing here?
We're
And
upgrading your
are-
facilities.
Well, okay, so you're upgrading. We're gonna get 5% better speeds, we're gonna get
You're
better
gonna get
stability.
1,000% better speeds.
Okay, so we're looking at 10 times. What
Oh, yeah.
about stability? Or this is all for landlines, this is for
This is for high-speed
internet?
internet.
Okay,
Data transfer in regards to download and upload speeds, with our fiber optic network, we're selling out 5 gig of up and down speeds. So now, right now, a property owner here has so a neighborhood here, I think your fastest internet speed with AT&T is maybe 50 megs down and 5 megs up. Well, with this fiber optic, you can get 5 gigs down and 5 gigs up on your upstream.
so is this impacting only AT&T customers, or what about customers with other?
No, so this will not affect Sunlink, or your other provider in this area. This is strictly AT&T. If you're in Sunlink and you decide if you want to make the change, come to AT&T, you'll get the speeds. But current AT&T customers will be able to upgrade their facilities or upgrade the speeds to whatever you choose.
Okay, and then my last one, and this may be going to Lisa as well, but what is the agreed policy on construction vehicles being left overnight and on weekends when there's nobody there? I see these construction vehicles, and is this something that we've approved, or?
So they're not supposed to be leaving their vehicles overnight. That's one of the agreements we came with the GM here, that they're not allowed to be leaving their vehicles. We have had some issues where the boardings had broken down and they weren't able to move them. They had to get a part, you drive up to Dallas, grab the part and repair it before they would remove it. That I should have known about, but they didn't call me, and that's one of the things I did reiterate with my foreman out here on site, saying, hey, I need to know when something goes wrong. So when someone calls me, I can give them an answer, hey, look, it's there because it broke down. We need to get it fixed ASAP to get it removed off the property.
Okay,
That's it for me.
Director Johnson.
So I appreciate you coming. I live on that street where I think the machine broke down, because I remember seeing it there over a couple of days. But like you said, it's not been great, but I think you have a lot of stuff in place. The better communication will be great, and I like how the homeowners have the choice between letting your contractor fix it, or having whoever they want fix it and being compensated. So I like that they have that option. I don't know that I have anything else to add.
Okay, Director Roberts.
Yes, I am an AT&T customer, have
Yes,
been
ma'am.
for my whole life almost. So I was concerned about your project areas, because I'm in the original section, which is
Okay.
probably homemade cable put in 1984.
Yep.
So, and I'm sure that's gonna be a little bit of a challenge, but you have, I think, high speed here, am I correct? Fiber optic is
Yes, there is
here.
fiber optic to the building.
So I'm just right across the street. So I was just hoping you'll get there soon.
Yes.
I have,
That's gonna be I believe that's the project that's tabled for 2025.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But like I said, as of right now, our engineering department are looking at jobs to bring into 2024. Because for us, for AT&T this year, they want us to try to turn up 26,000 customers. And to be able to provide high-speed fiber optic cable to 26,000 customers this year in Austin alone. And we're the biggest in the district.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate what you're doing, and I also appreciate you showing up here
No problem.
and taking care of that, and it sounds like you're addressing it, and you're working well with Crossroads as well
Yes, yes.
on
I've spoken to
location.
Ben several times. Yes.
Yeah, and I do know contractors are hard to manage sometimes, but just stay on top of them
Yes,
and
ma'am.
do what you're doing, and
Yes,
I think you're making a big difference. Hopefully, the residents will be a little bit more happier than
No problem.
what they're doing, but thank you.
No problem.
Director Shoemaker.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming out, appreciate it, I think this is a tough crowd to have to get on,
That's
but,
okay.
I guess one thing, maybe help residents think about going forward is, I assume most of the red and orange marks on the sidewalks are where y'all been marking out where stuff needs to be moved.
No, so the red and orange are existing facilities.
Yeah.
So before the work is done, they call 811 to be able to, so every facility owner in the neighborhood will come out and mark their facilities.
Got
So then if we're doing any crossings to there, we'll pothole it, verify, orange is gonna be us or Suddenlink. So, the red and orange, usually if you see white, that's proposed, that's where they'll be doing their stuff.
Gotcha,
Oh,
the white's gonna be where they're digging.
Yes.
Yeah, I've noticed on my street, there's a lot of red, orange, some yellow,
Yes.
and so.
Yeah,
I feel
yellow's your gas, yellow's where the gas lines.
That's what I guessed, because I saw it coming by.
Yep.
My son's gonna be so sad, he loves machines, he was looking, like, they're gonna dig here, and I was like, maybe they're marking one.
Yeah, no, yeah, they're supposed to be doing, they're supposed to be pushing that. And, we were in constant, communication with USIC, who is the utility locating company out in this area.
Yeah.
So,
I guess when they would flag, yeah, I mean, on Black Kettle to the
Yes.
point, Director, like, been seeing the equipment's in park, I'm gonna go by in the morning, go by in the afternoon,
Yes.
right, it's there's like, they've got a lot of stuff, but I assume they run into some kind of problem there at the corner of English River.
Yes,
and
yes,
where they're
yes.
rocking,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
But I did notice that they replaced a piece of sidewalk on, Spotted Eagle.
Yes,
There's a
correct.
block,
Right there in the
Creek
corner.
Run,
Yes,
yes,
right.
they've already replaced that and begun restoring
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So-
and there are
so
some
good
other
job.
things I did see that I'm not satisfied with, like, spoils of dirt and rock
Yeah.
in yards and what have you. I didn't like that, and I did mention that to my contractor, that, look, if we're not doing any kind of construction in the area, or because sometimes you have to shoot one way and then turn around and shoot the other way to be able to get the pipe on that street.
Yeah.
But I didn't like seeing all the spoils in the yards, just in case kids are running around during the weekend, what have you. I don't want them playing on the dirt and all that stuff, so I did mention that to my contractor today. So
Great.
we should
Okay.
be seeing those spoils cleaned up.
Thank you. We're gonna go around the table one more time, and let everyone have a chance. I just wanna, say, I appreciate Director Roberts asking when you're gonna get to her area, but we all understand you have a plan, and
Yes.
none of us are trying to influence.
No,
your
it's okay.
person.
Oh, no, it was not official
No,
question.
no, not at all.
you're good, you're
No,
good.
I just, no, absolutely
No,
not.
no.
Okay, Director Young,
Yeah, so it was on that same topic, but I'm assuming you guys have a plan of who's getting what and where. Has that been shared with the GM yet? And can
Yes.
we at some point?
I sent her an overview of the map of what we're feeding right now.
Okay, and so as long as that's just proposed, it's not like locked in stone or something like that, we can share that.
Oh,
maybe on
no,
the
it's actually, what you see on that plan I sent her, via email, it's where we're planning on placing the fiber optic facilities.
Okay, so we could release that to residents, so
Yeah,
we'll know when
definitely,
to expect that.
definitely, yeah.
Okay, and so, and then, really quick, what is the end of the project date?
So
I didn't know it was
with there being
120.
rock in this neighborhood, that's pushing my time frame a little bit further than I
Okay.
want it to be. Right now, our estimated completion date was the end of April.
Okay,
But the way things are going with the rock and machines breaking, it's making it a little bit difficult to meet that deadline.
end of April 25?
No, the end of April next month.
Okay, so why is it that
For
she's
the whole
got it?
district?
No, because, no, so right now.
He's on the current project, right, what you've got budgeted for.
Yes, correct. So Blockhouse was broken up into, I believe, 4 projects. We had the Scottsdale area back there by the toll road. That one's pretty much 100% done. I'm expecting that to be turned up by the middle of April.
Okay,
This area here, I had an estimated completion date of the end of April, but due to the rock, the miscommunication, the issues we've been having, I'm expecting to push that back maybe a month.
and then what are the other 2 sections in?
Right now, that's not part of our budget right now. They have to budget these jobs, or look at the dollar amount, how much we're gonna pay our contractor, and say, okay, can we bring that up, bring into this month, into this year?
Okay, so those aren't planned yet? for
Not
this
yet,
year?
they're scheduled for 2025.
Okay,
But there's a possibility it can be brought into this year.
okay.
Okay, Director Johnson?
When you say bring it up, you mean turn the fiber on?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
so Scottsdale, end of
Yes.
April,
I'm looking at,
or pretty soon?
I'm looking at the middle of April, yes.
Middle of April,
Yes.
and then,
Because we have,
Is there-
I have splicers working to splice everything together.
okay,
So when they get done with splicing, they'll start testing all the terminals, make sure we got continuity.
Mhm.
And then once that's done, and they click the ready step, or they just close the step, ordering should be available for that area, hopefully by the middle of April.
Okay, Director Roberts?
Yeah, and I agree with Director Young about being able to push this out, so I'm going to direct our general manager to put out a communication that explains who to reach out to, kind of like your door hanger.
Yes, yes,
You know,
yeah,
and
definitely.
make it a little bit,
I mean, if you would like, I can have my contractors start placing door hangers, start now, if you like. I mean, I'll have them do it.
yeah, I think it would be good, but I also want that communication from us, that, you know, we
Okay.
had you here, and you're on the meeting, and that we're showing our part as far as, you know, taking responsibility with making sure they're aware of what's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think we should do that.
Okay.
And if you could put a blurb together, just something very simple, it's,
Okay.
you know, doesn't get too complicated, but just on what your purpose is, and then maybe what
Run
your
this one,
actions
see.
are. Yeah, I mean, it's a positive thing,
Okay.
and so we want to come across more positive,
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
think, the back billing is my other question.
That I will have to talk to my manager and see what I can do to put pressure on OTEX to pay their back bill.
But that does not impact the MUD at all.
That does
It's
not
not going
impact
through us, so it is nothing to do with us.
So it's not a back bill, it's a straight bill.
It's it's between Crossroads and the subcontractor, it's
Right.
nothing to do with
So
the
maybe
MUD.
we should use another word
Yes,
besides
ma'am.
back bill.
Yes, ma'am.
It's nothing
So
to do with
anyway, I
us,
just
yeah.
want to make sure that those things are.
Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, and I will have, I do have a meeting with my new area manager tomorrow morning. And I did speak to him before I came here, and I told him I'll give him the information I received from you this evening.
Great, thank you. Director Shoemaker, anything else?
I guess we'll go, where are the other two areas, or if you can disclose, like, the other two sections, generally, we're looking for the specific project.
Rossport is the Rossport area, and then also on the other side of Scottsdale is where they're
Not part of the
working.
block.
So that'll be in the map that Lisa has, right?
Yes.
Yes.
No,
we'll get that out to
well,
you guys.
yeah, it's
Okay, Lisa's got a map of it.
Gotcha, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
So
Okay.
of the area that we're doing now, Lisa does have a copy of that, but the other area that I'm looking at is probably gonna be. Let's see, it's gonna be the Tomlinson Ford Blockhouse, Autry Drive area. So that's gonna be the next section.
Okay, great.
Right now,
That's good to know,
that's
residents
scheduled for
can-
2025.
Yeah, we expect it, okay,
So,
great. Thank you so much, we
Thank you.
appreciate you being here tonight, we
you.
may have you at future meetings, but please
Yeah,
continue
definitely.
to stay in
I
contact
thank
with
you for
Lisa.
having me. Like I said, I
Absolutely.
don't mind doing this. Like I said, it's great to meet everyone, and like I said, I'm hoping this project will run a lot smoother than it has been already.
It will,
So,
we're confident, all right, thank you, okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, have a good night.
It is 7:41, and actually, we're making some pretty good progress here. We are on 21, Sagamore Fence, we have a proposal. Do I have a motion to approve, proposal 7536 in the amount of $22,078, and this is for the staining of the new fencing? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Okay, do I have any discussion?
I got a quick question. There are some ANSI residents that may want to stain before we get around to it. Do we have any plan for doing that? If a resident reached out to you, Lisa, would you be able to help them figure it out, sign a waiver, and go out there and Tom Sawyer it?
So we have not, as a district, purchased any additional staining for residents to come out and do that. They are welcome to reach out to Master Halco and purchase the stain that is on our profile if they want to go out and purchase their own staining and do that themselves. But
Okay.
we do not have anything in the budget for them to actually go out and do that themselves.
Okay.
And from what I understand, if you purchase too much stain, it actually can go bad. And so that's not something that you want to do from a budgeting perspective.
Okay, I want to go around the table, and I'm going to go this way because I have a comment. I would not necessarily suggest that residents stain their own fences because it really is a mud fence, and we want consistency in how it's being stained, so I would not support that. Director Shoemaker.
But, I mean, they're staining both sides of the, like, fence, right? our side and like the whole fence is getting stained, right? Or
No.
we're only staining the,
Just the district.
okay, so that's why they're asking about matching the stain?
No, I think they wanna do the outside of it, right?
Oh, okay.
I think they can do whatever they want to the inside of it.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to verify, 'cause
Yeah.
like, I was like,
Yeah,
I mean, we've got budget for this, if they can be patient, we can take care of them.
It seems like when you're staining anything, you're gonna get one side. If you don't do the other side immediately, you're gonna have some bleed through and you're gonna see a bunch of weird looking colored boards. Maybe we need to notify residents that if they wanna stain their side, what to do. But it just, stain bleeds.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think this is one, like, let them know that they can, what the match is, they can get their own.
okay. Director Roberts.
I agree with Director Logan that we don't need some volunteers, because you'll get some kind of mixed match applications, and some of it will be heavier than the others. I think the professionals should be able to do that. I think in the past, we've never done the other side, but and then we never had an issue with bleed through, so I just say we just do what we're doing.
Okay, Director Johnson?
Agreed.
Director Young, anything else since you're at the end of the table?
Yeah, I would just like to think that if they're getting it done, and they wanna have their side done as well, that there should be a rate for that, and residents can know that it can be done. I'd like to maybe have that included for anybody that's like, hey, it's bleeding all the way through. What do we do?
We can definitely give them information, decide on where to reach out individually if they'd like to do
Okay,
that.
and that way, when they're out here staying another day, they can just pop into one home.
If they
I
want
mean,
to.
tell them, you can stay not inside, not the outside.
Okay, great. Can we, so, I had a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? Okay, number 22, report from BG&E. Are they here?
Exciting, they're actually online right now.
Oh,
Yes,
awesome.
I am here. Hi there. Can you hear
So
me
Matt-
all right? Awesome.
McCracken.
Sorry.
McCracken.
Can you hear me all right? Test, test.
We can hear.
Awesome. So yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to announce the GIS system is now live, and we're excited to share it. This will just be a Spark Notes demo, but we have been working with Lisa the past month. We have some training videos and documentation. So if anyone on the board or anyone else wants to know more about the system and wants to train how to use it, we're happy to share that information with you. So the first time you log in, you'll see this homepage, and this is where you access all the maps. The main map that most people will be using is the utilities maps. So this has all your assets located in one simple map. So the first time you open it out, the blockhouse boundary will load. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see all your, in GIS, they call them layers. So that's how you access all the different utilities that we created. And David was a big part in helping us get all this data inside. He provided us the plans. So the way it works, it's just like Google Maps where you can zoom in and out. And on the left-hand side, you can turn on different types of layers. So you can view all your water utilities by just checking those on the left-hand side. And those lines turn on. So here you can see all your water lines, your valves, fire hydrants. The great thing about GIS2 is everything's interactable. So if you want more information about a specific hydrant, you can click on it on the map, see the information like its diameter, installation date, what section it's part of. When we field verify all these things, we checked, made sure to take photos. So if you do want to look at photos, we do have 2 photos for every asset, manhole, valve, fire hydrant. And then another useful thing too, I'm sure David will love this. If you click on a line, you can pull up the PDF plans for that specific line. So if you're, working on a replacement for this cul-de-sac, you can click on the line and then pull up the document right here, and that will load up the PDF of that construction plan. So that's super helpful.
He looks enthused.
Yeah, David's very enthusiastic here.
Double thumbs up.
That's awesome. And of course, we have your storm utilities are here as well, sanitary. So these are directly from the plans David designed. So you can view all that information in one central location. So no more flipping through maps or plans. This can be accessed through any web browser, your phone. It's mobile friendly. So if you're out in the field, you can pull up those plans and photos. So super useful. And then I'm not sure how long I can talk all day, but we also have other items such as we worked with Lisa on uploading the trees, some basic facilities like the lift stations, water plants, trails, parks. So all those can be checked on and loaded up so you can see everything. Amenities, all those are there. So it's just really a one-stop shop to view all your utility information, your assets, subdivision boundaries, other administrative boundaries like the Mud Owners Association, all that information tied into one spot. So we're really excited for it to be complete. And I provided Lisa with the login information. So we have 2 logins. One login is for most users to view the data. And then we have another login for editing data where people like Lisa and other people would upload documents. So if there's maintenance I know one thing we discussed is having a layer for fencing completion. So that's set up where in the future, Lisa would be able to go in here and mark sections completed. So that's just one of the things we're working on. And
dates on those, yeah.
Could you click on one of those blue pieces of fences to see what that does? I saw you click those other parts. That was Director Shoemaker.
Yep. So right now the fence is pretty basic. It's just a simple, it's color coded based off completion. So if we expand the legend, once we start adding data to this, it will turn green to let you know pieces are complete. So that's how this specific fencing is set up. But right now it's just a blank canvas, and we haven't started editing it yet.
No, thank you. I guess one other quick question. This is Director Shoemaker. Williamson County parcels down there at the bottom, I assume that's the property tax parcels?
Yes, sir. So if you ever need to know who owns a certain piece of land, you can turn those on and then see all the information like owner information, address information. So all that is just some background data that you can turn on to help you, and it can be useful. Like if you're replacing something, you can see the owner and contact them ahead of time if you need to access their property or something.
And that owner information is publicly accessible, otherwise it's not just a tool for people to spy on their neighbors.
No, this is on the CAD website, but it's not.
I just want to be clear.
Correct. Yep. And it's actually a live service too. So this is pulling directly from the public CAD website too.
Awesome.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah.
What's the refresh date on that? So if somebody sees somebody's moving across the street and they don't know who the new owners are, like how long until that gets updated?
To the deeds are recorded.
That's a good question.
Yes, it's live. Okay.
It's as live as Williamson County's data. So as soon as they make an update, they're pretty good where I think they actually do it nightly. I'm not sure how long it takes for, transfers to take place.
Yeah, I
but
think 24 hours is definitely reasonable. Yeah, that's very reasonable.
Great. Okay. Is there anything else you need to show us on this?
I think that's all. And like I said, we have some training videos and documentations. We sent some of that stuff to Lisa. So if you guys are interested in getting in here and taking a look and playing around, feel free to use it. And if you have any suggestions or want to learn more about it, just feel free to reach out and I'll be happy to help.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and go. This is President Logan. I'm going to go ahead and go around the table and see if any of the other directors have any questions, if you don't mind. Director Young?
I only have a comment. This is one of those things that I wanted so bad when I got on the board, and now that we finally got it, I think this is just fantastic. It's just going to be such a great, useful tool documenting what's going on where in our district, and thank you for this demo. This is awesome.
Director Johnson?
No, I agree that it's going to be very useful, but no other comments.
Director Roberts?
Yes, so I see all of the utilities. I don't really see a lot of the amenities, like tennis courts, like when we replace volleyball court. How are you keeping up with that and those assets? And like when we replace things, and like if it's for instance, you replace a water meter, who's updating that, and is that being allocated or assigned to that project?
So basically, Matt, if I can, this is Lisa.
Sure.
I just want to speak on all of the assets, all of the areas that you see, tennis courts and all of that. So basically what I'll do now that he has everything in, every PDF that I have of every contract that you guys have already signed, for instance, with Hellas Construction, the fencing, all of that, I'll drop every single one of those PDFs in there. You'll have an Excel spreadsheet in there to show you the date that it was done, the cost of it, the warranty on it and all of that. So there will be an Excel spreadsheet for every asset and everything that has been done to it for each area, so that we'll be able to keep up with it. We just needed them to go ahead and complete that. As you mentioned, even on your fencing, now that I have all of those proposals that have been approved with Sagamore, I'll go in, I'll mark all of those areas, you'll see those proposals, you'll be able to see the date of all that. And then also the Excel spreadsheets will be in there as well, so you'll have an Excel spreadsheet for all of these proposals that have already been approved.
So like the lights that are
Exactly.
replaced, and then the Tomlinson guardhouse. and
Exactly,
things
all
like
of those
that.
things.
Which will help us with budgeting.
Exactly, so we'll be able to go into each asset, have all of the documentation, who do we purchase it from, what, like, again, what was the warranty on it, when was the replacement for it, and again, every time. Exactly, all of those types of things.
So Matt, how is it backed up? Just, because that's a lot of work. I'd hate for it to crash and burn.
Yeah, so we have a SQL server. It's from Microsoft, and we do nightly backups. I think, in fact, we back up our server every 2 hours, and it's on the cloud, so through Microsoft. So you can rest assured if there is an outage or a disaster, we can always go back 2 hours. So we're, we know how important your data is. It took, months to create this, so we want to make sure it's backed up, every 2 hours on our server as an image that we can always restore in case something happens. And a lot of this data also is protected where not anyone can get in there and edit it. That's why we have, Lisa's the one that will be able to upload documents, so someone with write or read access just can't get in there and change those documents. So we have multiple different accounts with different permissions to ensure nothing gets accidentally deleted or misplaced.
Perfect, thank you.
Director Shoemaker.
No additional questions, you answered mine already.
I really do want to thank you. I'm going to reiterate what Director Young said. This is really exciting, and the majority of the board was really excited to get this up. It was not cheap, but it is definitely a huge asset. It's going to help us with budgeting. And you guys came in right where you said you would in your contract as far as how long it would take you to get up and running. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we're happy to help. And
further?
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing else further. We're going to go ahead and move on. And we are on item number 23. A report from TDS is in your packet. Number 24, stormwater management. We've already covered that, and we approved item B. 25, services subcommittee. The report is in the packet, and we're going to move on to the general manager, number 26.
My report's also in the packet, I don't have anything else to add. If you guys have any questions for me, I can answer for you.
Okay,
Are we approving you to do reservations requests?
So I want to talk about that for a second. The board does not need to approve requests for use of facilities. Director Johnson and I talked about this. It's the GM should be the one that's approving it unless there's something different, like if they had rented something before we had an issue with it, we didn't give them the deposit back. I think that we need to save some time and let her just go ahead and do that, unless there's an anomaly, something different, like they want 200 people, like something over the extreme. So I don't know if this needs to be voted on, or Sean? Yeah.
I don't know how it's papered up in the park. I think that's probably where it is in the park rules.
Okay, we'll look at the park rules and see if it says that the board has to approve it, but if it does, I would like to bring that back and amend it, because so let the GM do it and bring any concerns, obviously, to us. Or if somebody's not gonna get their deposit back, we need to know that.
And they're having to re-rent something, then
Right.
yes, that would be something.
Right, did I cover that as how we talked about it in our meeting? Okay, great. Anything else for the GM?
No.
We are on legal number 27, and it's not even 8 o'clock.
We got a 5-minute meeting on.
Everybody get
Oh.
things to talk about here. Under 27A, the good news here is I don't have anything specific. I think there are updates on directives here. I think everything is either done or in process. Under 28, we talked last month about the temporary stage 3 increases that the city of Cedar Park has implemented and are passing on to you guys. And we talked about considering adjusting your rate order to accommodate the rate increases that are coming your way. I don't think, my recollection is that the board didn't necessarily have a strong feeling one way or another. What I have for you tonight, behind tab 28 in the supplemental packet, is a proposal from NewGen Solutions These are the same folks that did the calculations relating to your last rate order that was adopted in October of 2022. So this is, you see here, scope of services, determine revenue requirement, design water rates, issue a draft and final memo report, basically to accommodate the increases that are coming over from the city of Cedar Park for your wholesale rates. In sum, this is in an amount not to exceed $10,000.
Do I have a motion to approve the proposal?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Sorry.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, I do have a question. So is this for the temporary rate? We're just gonna do a rate study?
This is to accommodate the temporary rate.
Okay, so we're gonna spend $10,000 to see if they're excessive?
We talked about last month that the temporary rate could last 24
Yeah,
months
this
or longer.
this is
Right.
not to analyze their rate, it's how y'all would cover, you would do a, it's not contemporaneous, but essentially contemporaneous rate increase so that you're passing along the rate increase.
Okay, yeah, I've done them in the past. I just wanna make sure I understood what. the
Yeah,
purpose
and in
was.
the past, I think we utilized this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think part of the problem that came up last time was, do we want to increase rates immediately right now, or we want to increase them in the next budget, right? Which require a different rate amount to recover the appropriate budget amount. And I agree, I'll take some credit, but I specifically requested some analysis of what rates we need to do if Cedar Park goes to stage 4, because it's been kind of, it's rained a lot east of I-35, but it has not rained a whole lot to refill the lakes west of I-35 yet.
Yeah.
And if we're in stage 3 in March, this is the wet part of the year, so I have some concern about making sure we appropriately price the water if things get worse.
Just to confirm, LCRA adjusted their dry contingency plans last night. That's getting passed down to all the wholesale water customers of the LCRA. So I don't think the predictions are any better than they were last month. Ben, do you have, usually operators know more about lake levels than I do. Do you got any intel here?
No, I just know they passed it last night, and then the May 1st is the deadline for now, all of Crossroads districts to get up to compliance by May 1st with their drought contingency plans.
Yeah, and I'm saying Ben's addressing the LCRA stuff, but generally speaking, I mean, no different guidance in terms of projected
To getting rain.
rainfall. Yeah, that's
Yes.
kind of what I'm getting at.
Okay, so my just final question is this. So, because the district doesn't need to be absorbing this expense. It needs to be passed through the residents. So this is very important because budgetary wise, I mean, we
This,
can't keep.
Right, I think what this will do, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think this keeps you revenue neutral.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all I'm asking,
Yeah.
is that, we don't sit here and absorb all these rate increases as taxpayers as a whole, that we pass them on to the residents.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's the intent,
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, let's move on, Sean. Please.
All right, yes, ma'am.
No, I'm not rushing, I was trying to be polite.
Let's see, okay, item number 29, good news there, we already did that.
Mhm.
Item 30, Hitchcock Design has already been done.
Yep.
31, policy relating to remote participation in board meetings.
Okay, so I will, you should have this in front of you. I drafted this, sent it over to my colleague, Director Johnson. He was on the road, so he put his little chicken scratches on there. I agree with all of his edits. Unfortunately, I did not have time to produce a red line and a clean copy for everyone, but what I'm going to ask is, do I have a motion to approve this version of the policy with David's edits, and do I have a motion?
I'll motion so we can discuss.
I will second. What I do want to add, I'll go around the table for discussion. I've been involved with CTRMA the last few days. Looking at you in the corner over there. And I actually watched their board meeting today, and I was looking at their agenda, and they actually have some good verbiage on their agenda about remote, remote attending policies. So I sent that over to Sean, as well as some citizen communication language that, again, just kind of clarifies stuff a little bit. So it doesn't necessarily, it's not gonna be language that's gonna go into here, but I think it's good language for us to look at possibly adding to our agenda, especially if we're gonna consider remote working. So next week, next month, I will bring that language to share with everyone and see if you guys agree, and if we wanna tweak our agenda a little bit, but.
Can I
yes.
skip the order just so I can explain my edits? Would that be okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
So really, my edits were mostly just pertaining to clarifying what I understood from Sean, which is that if you're remotely attending a meeting, you cannot count towards the quorum, especially because if communications go down, we won't have a quorum anymore. And then most of the rest was just qualifying language.
Chair instead of
Chair
president,
instead
yeah.
of president in case Director Logan's not here.
Yeah, regular meetings. And you know what, I just threw out 7 as like a half number. I mean, there was no really logic behind that. I'm open to anything else, but.
One of the thoughts here, though, is not to replace in-person meetings with remote meetings. It's to give the option, like a couple months ago when I felt okay, but had COVID and didn't want to send it through the board. Like, there was no technological reason why not to participate.
It's an exception.
Right, if you can be physically present, you should be physically present, not
Right.
just stay at home
Use it
because
for
you don't want to get out of your
reasons
pajamas.
not-
Right.
Yeah, I think we all
So-
agree with that. Okay. Director Young, did you have any comments?
No comments.
Okay, Director Roberts?
Just the 5,000 X's on there as required by who?
Oh,
that's a place.
we're hoping Sean will put in the open
Yeah,
meetings
and
act.
so I'd like to.
It's in the front page.
Yeah, chapter 551 of the government director. But I would like to take just there's a couple other parts in here that make like specific as opposed to general allusions to portions of law, whatnot. So there's just a few little cleanups I might offer.
Okay.
Director Shoemaker?
No, I appreciate this, 'cause yeah, like, I mean, last year, it was what, late August, we had one of our special meetings for the tax rate budget. I'd be at a conference in San Antonio for work at 8 in the morning. That following morning, so I left here, and went straight down to San Antonio, arriving about midnight. So, yeah, if I could have just simply gone down to my hotel room and participated remotely, that would have been a hell of a lot safer than trying to go down 35 at midnight and a lot of construction 18-wheelers, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I think there's definitely some benefits to allowing us as board members we all have jobs, we all occasionally get called to travel.
I think we can also expect that if we're planning to do that, to maintain quorum and avoid canceling, let's give a heads up to Lisa, and Lisa can broadcast that to the rest of the board.
Can't count towards one.
Right, it won't
Correct.
count.
Right. Just to make sure that, like, we're not depending on me, for example, to be here for quorum and I'm not gonna be here.
That way, the San Antonio trip may be able to like, hey, I'll go there at midnight and help make quorum as opposed to.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, you count as being present, but you've got to have a quorum in place to be, here,
Absolutely.
basically.
We got 3 here. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Director Johnson?
Can I amend my motion just slightly to accommodate whatever? Minor, would that be fair?
Mhm.
Minor changes.
Minor
Sean made.
clarifications on there, but not changing the substance of the policy?
So
Okay.
I amend to,
Did-
as written with
Who
whatever.
seconded?
You did.
Oh. Okay, I second your amended. I never second, so. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you for working on this, myself and Johnson.
No, thank you, much appreciated.
Okay, number 32, renewal of Jan Pro service agreement. Do I have a motion to approve the agreement?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
I will say they have done an outstanding job, probably been one of the better companies we've had in a long time, and I have no complaints, so does anybody else have any comments?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 33, operation services agreement should be in your supplemental. That is redlined and cleaned up. Do I have a motion to approve the operation service agreement?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Second is Director Young. Any discussion or questions? I'm gonna go around the room. Director Young,
No questions or comments.
Director Johnson,
No questions or comments?
Director Roberts.
Yes, the exempt employee, there's still an hourly rate if it goes over 40 hours. And my understanding is an exempt employee doesn't have an hour limit. So are we meeting the fair labor laws on this?
It's exempt. So, Sean?
I don't have any concerns with fair labor laws now.
Yeah, because that's my only,
Okay. Anything
Just to be
else?
fair, and just to clarify, that's in the GM contract, not the operations contract.
Yeah, I was really confused, Phil, I was could not find it.
Well, I
Okay,
thought,
follow-
yeah.
Okay, I was like, where is it?
Yeah, and I just want to clarify something. This got pulled out when Pinnacle was the contractor. because they weren't part of Crossroads. That's why that got pulled out of Crossroads contract. So just, that's why when I suggested we all put it back, but I think you and I talked and we said, let's wait till the renewal and put it all back in one contract. That would be a recommendation.
Yeah, and just to confirm, board members, so these two contracts now track to the same, the terms both end in September of 25. So if there's a desire at that point to blend them all back, that'd be a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah, actually, we had, after Pinnacle, we had a contract with Crossroads that included our GM and it included our operations. So it was one contract. And then it split, Director Roberts, when she was no longer our operations. So it actually did split last year. Yeah, it did. Yeah, absolutely. I already talked to Andrew about it. But it doesn't matter. It's two separate contracts right now, but like you said, it's trending on the same renewal. So Director Shoemaker, do you have any questions?
Not on, no.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, general management services contract. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Any comments, Director Young?
No comments.
Director Johnson?
No.
Director Roberts?
My same comment, and I apologize, I was thinking it was all the same, but I just am concerned about the exempt status. I know that I had that question at the initial beginning of this, and so now we came back and we've removed a lot of, verbiage about the overtime and things like that. So I'm just more concerned legally, are we in compliance with the labor laws about exempt employees? Because there is no overtime paid to an exempt employee that I'm aware of.
And I think Sean answered your question, said he had no concerns with labor laws. Do you have any other comments?
Is that what you said? No concerns?
Yeah.
You're okay with it?
Yeah, I
Yes.
don't have any concerns about our language that we have in this.
Okay, so you're fine legally with
That's
that?
I've done contracting stuff, I still got paid for overtime, it just came out of the budget of the contract agency, not the billable.
But you were an exempt employee?
And I believe that that's their responsibility to pay overtime or not, and they're on the legal hook.
Okay.
I just don't.
Sean has answered the question. Do you have anything else on the GM contract?
I just want to raise that point.
Okay,
I'm
it's
very
raised,
concerned
and he's
about it.
answered it. Cool, but I want to make sure, do you have anything else?
As far as I know.
Okay, Director Shoemaker? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I do,
You are opposed?
because
Okay,
of the exempt.
okay. We're gonna move on. Blockhouse District Subcommittees. I don't think we have anything on that right now. Code of Conduct. I don't think we have anything on that. Somebody stop me if I'm miscellaneous subcommittee directives. I don't have anything on that. Future board meetings. So it looks like we're gonna meet with Trent, the Park Subcommittee, early next week. Please, I'm gonna remind everybody to get your comments in on Monday to the GM. We're not gonna follow up. We're not gonna chase you all. If you don't send them in on Monday, that was your last chance. And then we'll meet with Trent and David and the GM, maybe Sean, I'm not sure. And then we will, if we need to go ahead and schedule a special meeting, we may. I won't do it on the Eclipse Day. But I think we're all really motivated to get something going, and I know our residents would really like to do that. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
You don't have a motion to adjourn.
Oh, shoot.
One item.
Executive, sorry, I was gonna say.
Sorry, we're gonna go to executive. Sandy Martin has a question.
Did you, cover number 6C?
I don't know, what is it?
Oh, it was a fence thing. I was actually asked, fence
No,
project columns,
columns.
but did that get pended or did we cover those?
We don't have anything on that currently at the moment, so I would say that's a pin, if you will.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Thank you,
make sure it's
Sandy.
on the next one.
Reminder.
Geez, Sandy.
I flagged it, I couldn't know, did we cover this? But
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go into executive, no decisions will be made, and we will come out and finish the meeting. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
We are back, we're out of executive session, and no decisions were made. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Director Johnson is making a motion.
To include the specific address, Sean?
Yeah.
Okay, so, as a result of our discussion, I move to proceed with, 2805 Alexander Drive, contemplating that a violation of the covenants has been, present at the property, that the violation or violations materially affect the taxable property value in the district. And as a result of those two being yes, in my opinion, I move that the district elects to proceed with a lawsuit to enforce the covenants.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just would like to say that, if the owners choose to watch this, that, we've sent a number of notices, and this is true for any resident, coming to discuss with us or Armburst and Brown the situation you're in and why, what you're doing is always preferable to ignoring the notices. And, it pains you have to take these steps, but, there's been a number of notices sent and we've received no communication back from the property owner. And, that's the whole thing. If they don't communicate with us, we cannot work with them if there's any kind of mitigating circumstances.
Okay, great. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Any other matters to go before the board this evening that was on the agenda?
I move to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we are done. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us.